Hey, what's up? I'm Morgan and welcome to my channel, or welcome back to my channel. Thanks so much for joining me. Today I'm going to talk about how you can create a visual aesthetics for your fashion business or your fashion brand, clothing line, whatever it is that you want to call it. These tips are really geared towards no matter what level you are in this industry, no matter if you're a beginner or if you're an expert, but it's really going to help out those beginners because a lot of times experts obviously have already cracked the code on the visual aesthetics, and that's why they have continuous customers. Now, a lot of times as a new business owner or a new fashion brand owner, you will miss out on like certain steps when it comes to the aesthetics of your brand, and it gets a little confusing when you get to your social media page, like especially Instagram, which is where most sales are happening right now. When you get to your Instagram page kind of is like all over the place, and it really doesn't have a theme. It doesn't have like a real like point of view when it gets there. So I'm gonna jump right into these tips, and I hope that these tips can help you out. So first things first, I talked about this in a few videos, but I really didn't touch on like really doubling down when it comes to your fashion business. So I want to go a little bit more in depth for you, especially as a new business owner. The first thing that you want to understand when you are trying to create the visual aesthetics of your fashion brand is that you really need to know your target audience. And then when I say target audience, I mean like the age demographic of your audience. Where are most of your customers coming from? What cultural type of environment are your customers coming from? And when you figure out those things and you pinpoint those things, it's really easy to target those specific type of people because you know that that's the people that are coming to your website. Now, a good way to figure this out, especially if you are new, is to go into your analytics, whether that be on Instagram, whether that be on your actual website. Go into your analytics and really look at where people are clicking onto your website from. I know when I go into my shop, I can see if there's a lot of people coming from LA, there's people coming from China, India, wherever they are in the world. If you have a website, it should have analytics attached to it. I use Shopify personally for my my brand and my business, and it just works out for me, and I really like how everything is really smooth and it's really easy to use. So just go into your analytics and really focus on searching for those key things. Like a lot of times you can't figure out the age, but on Instagram they have analytics to where you can see your target like age, like who's mostly following you. It could be 18 to 25, 25 to 34, and once you know, you can kind of like gear your products towards that type of audience, because those are the people that are obviously into you and into your brand. So now that you have the demographics, the second thing that you want to do is create a mood board. And the best place to create a mood board for me is on Pinterest. Now Pinterest is literally a big mood board. It's full of images. The search engine literally gives you images. So what you want to do is go onto Pinterest. If you don't have a Pinterest account, it's super easy. Just go on there, sign up for an account, and start looking through Pinterest for images that represent your brand. Now that you have a Pinterest, sorry, hit the camera. Now that you have a Pinterest page and you're ready to create a Pinterest board, what you want to do before you just start randomly searching these things is to get a piece of paper, write down a few. I would say 10 is a good amount of a list of 10. Write a list of 10 of words that describes your brand. And I mean, like, it could be action words, it could be a person, it could be a place, whatever it is. Write down 10 words that represent your brand, and then also keep in mind within those 10 words you have to go but you have to keep in mind the age demographic and where your audience is mostly coming from. So your 10 words could be, I don't know, your brand when you think of your brand, you might think of like Kanye West. So you write down Kanye West. You also might think of, I don't know, the Chicago skyline. Like write down Chicago. Write down the museums that really trigger something to your brand aesthetics. Write down the latest sneaker, like you feel like your clothes really go well with a certain type of sneaker. Your clothes go well with a certain type of person, an influencer. Write those things down, because when you go into your Pinterest, you want to take that list, take the list of whatever you wrote your list down on, take that top 10 list, go into Pinterest, and then when you go onto Pinterest, you want to search around those terms, meaning your your brand's mood board should focus on things that are only on the list. Do not create 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 other add-ons. You don't want to do that. Keep your list really tight, because when you have a very precise image of your brand, and then you also have the words that describes your brand, it's really easy to focus on the visuals on how you are going to create your brand from this day forward. So now that you have your Pinterest page, now that you know the age demographics and the whereabouts of who's coming in and out of your website according to your analytics, now that you know who's on your Instagram and things like that, and you have your list of your top 10 words that describe your brand, you aren't on Pinterest now. You want to search Pinterest for specific, very specific keywords. So if your brand is, let's say, a streetwear brand, we're just going to keep going with the streetwear. If you have a streetwear brand, when you're on Pinterest, you want to type in streetwear fashion, and then if your list has a city or destination, you put streetwear fashion Los Angeles, streetwear fashion Philadelphia, streetwear fashion Chicago, and look at the images that pop up, because those are the people that you are going to be targeting. You want to add certain pictures that go according to those keywords to your now new Pinterest board. And your Pinterest board, just to keep it really tight and really specific, also put down the name of your brand as the new Pinterest board and put mood. Like, I don't know, whatever your streetwear brand is, put streetwear mood, and then, you know, your brand's name, so that you know when you go on Pinterest, you can rely on this mood board to tell a story about your brand. So now that you have that part down, you search the streetwear part. You want to also, once you have a full board according to like your top 10 lists, according to your demographics and things like that, once you have your full list, once you have your full Pinterest board, the next part is like the best part. It's like the most rewarding part, in my opinion, when having a fashion brand and you're starting the creative process of a new collection, or starting the creative process of picking things for the new season. It's really what you pull together in that final moment that really defines your brand. So when you're looking at your Pinterest board and you're looking at the mood and the vibe of your board, you're like, oh yeah, this is it. This is how my brand is supposed to feel. It's giving me this really good feeling. This is where you create your own visuals for your own brand. So in step 3, I would say, the step 3 part is the creative process of actually bringing your brand's visuals to life. You want to keep this really consistent throughout your journey as a fashion brand, because when one collection relates to the next collection, and then the next collection, and then the next collection, people are going to be like, oh my God, I know that brand, because you keep it really consistent according to your mood board. That's what you want to do. You want to create consistency, and that consistency is the visuals behind your brand. That's what people are going to connect with. People rely on images. They rely on a certain feeling when they look at something, and that's what really sticks to them. Without you having to say things, that's what really sticks. It's the visuals. So again, now that we're on step 3, the creative process, building your actual visual aesthetics, what you want to do is, out of your entire mood board, go into your mood board and click on 10 images. Take 10 images from that mood board, create another mood board. Okay, now this part is the fun part. To me, it's fun because it's like, oh my God, like I'm getting closer and closer and closer to creating a collection. What you want to do is, after you pick your 10 images, and out of the 10 images, you want to make sure it's cohesive. Okay, meaning that the colors the colors relate to one another. You're picking out the visuals for your actual collection for you to go off of and build off of when you are starting to sketch and sew and do all these things, or pick things for your boutique. This is what you're relying on, these 10 images that you have finalized your collection on. So you're looking at the color scheme. Pretty sure if you've created a whole mood board, there's a color scheme throughout it, because it's just natural for those type of things to happen. So let's just say, for instance, your color theme so far in your streetwear mood board is like red and like mustard yellow and black and white. Let's just say those are your colors. I don't know why I picked those colors, but let's just say those are your colors. What you want to do is keep those colors in that top 10 pick. Those are the colors that you are going to be pulling from, okay? Go with that, because now that you see this all over again, it's repeating itself, you know that that type of audience, which is a cultural type thing, that audience is really feeling those colors. You know that those colors are going to work. You know that those colors are going to stand out. So go according to those colors. Also look at the fonts on these different types of streetwear brands and things like that. Are they bold? Are they like slanted italic style? Are they in cursive? Are they like doubled and like do they have like gradient? Look at those type of things also, because again, it's the visuals that are going to attract people. And what you want to do is pick a font. When you pick a font, I would suggest you picking 3 or 4 fonts for your entire brand across the board, meaning you're going to use these fonts on Instagram, Twitter, you're going to use these fonts on your website, on your logos, your hang tags, your packaging. You're going to be using this on all these things. You need a bold font for obviously like the letterheads and things like that. You need a bold font. You need a smaller font that's going to kind of be like the typeface for like descriptions and things like that. And you're gonna need another font for probably like packaging and stuff like that. You want to make sure it's really consistent. And again, when you're picking out the color scheme, you're picking out the certain styles that out of these top 10 photos, you're picking out the font that goes with these type of things. You're creating your brand aesthetics, whether you know it or not. That's what you are doing. You're creating the visual aesthetics of your brand. So now that you have your top 10, final step is step 4. It's to go all in. When I say go all in, I mean really focus and go all in. Take another piece of paper, write down the top 10 images, like descriptions of the top 10 images that you have chosen for your final mood board for you to start creating your collection. Write down the different types of fonts that you've chosen. Write down the color scheme that you've chosen. Write down which styles you know for a fact that are in the streetwear industry and streetwear business that people gravitate towards, so you can kind of go off of that when it comes to your designing and your brand aesthetics and things, your design aesthetics. Write that down. Write down your target audience again. Write down the age of this audience. Write down where they're going to come from. Write down the top places that you feel like your brand can target for the streetwear aesthetics. Write that all down. So now when you are in step 4, which is like the final processing part of everything, you know for a fact that when it comes to your packaging, you already know which fonts you're going to use. You already know which colors you're going to use. You already know how to run ads and things like that, because you have a target audience. You know all these things ahead of time, and it's going to create a very good camaraderie around your brand and your audience, and you're just going to keep growing and keep growing and keep growing within this fashion business, because you have established yourself as knowing who the heck you are as a brand. If you don't know who you are as a brand, no one else is going to know who you are. No one else is going to take you seriously. So make sure you have those things down pat before you even think about trying to sell something to somebody, because visually we are all visual creatures. We like to see things and then we like to react. So if I'm seeing something and I don't react, it's probably because you have no visual aesthetics. It's really not appeasing to me because I have no reaction to it. So make sure you do those things. I hope all those tips helped, and make sure you guys watch this video right here. Make sure you watch this. It's how to 10x your fashion business. It goes hand in hand with all of my videos. Make sure you just go watch all of them, because you know I'm dropping tips on the fashion business all the time. So go ahead and do that. Make sure you guys like this video by giving it a thumbs up. Make sure you guys give this video a smash on that subscribe button, okay? Hit that subscribe button right now. I'm gonna be putting out videos every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and on some Sundays, okay? Because that's what we do here. We're growing, we're loving it, we're talking fashion, we're talking business. I'll see you guys on my next video.